What is up, sapiosexuals? Thank you for turning on Sex in South Beach. So the sex situation we're getting into today is all about fetishes. What is a sexual fetish? Anything that really arouses them and they really want it whenever they have sex. That is what a sexual fetish is. In order for a fetish to be diagnosed as a disorder, the arousal must persist for at least 6 months. And you know what? It should also mess up many other areas of your life. Otherwise, you just got a fetish, not a fetishistic disorder. Understand what I'm saying? And since I know you're a learner, I'm going to keep going with our fetish education today. Let's talk about some of the most common sexual fetishes. Psychological play. It's basically mind control. Yes, this is a type of BDSM, bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, 50 Shades of Grey, Red Room type stuff. The key to psychological play is a sexual power exchange. For example, consensual threats, like a dom woman warning a male submissive with a foot fetish that, you're gonna have to lick my feet if you don't behave according to my instructions. That's psychological play. Another super popular fetish, since we were just talking about feet, yes, a foot fetish. Can you believe it? This is actually one of the most popular freaking fetishes in the world. And sadly for me, Dr. Sonjia, I've never been with someone with a foot fetish. And I say sad because I am a woman who pays hundreds of dollars for a good foot massage, okay? And I've always suspected I could get those for free if only my man had a foot fetish. But my hubs does not. So ladies, that is the bright side of dating someone with a foot fetish. So when he comes out all balls up like, baby, I got something to tell you, before you go psycho and say, this is crazy, think about your feet, girl. Think about your feet. Seriously though, a foot fetish simply means someone's very sexually fixated on the foot. This could involve shoes, socks, stockings, licking the foot, sucking the toes, or even having a woman use her feet to masturbate a man, right? Girl, and you thought you only had to use your hands and your mouth. Your feet can get in the game. Now, as with any unusual sexual activity, it is super important to discuss this with your partner before acting on it. Don't just suck a toe without telling her, okay? That is weird. But even though she might be just a little weirded out at first, if she really cares about you and understands you do also want to please her and meet her sexual needs as well, she's likely going to be able to roll with it and enjoy all the extra foot massages and the nice heels you're going to be buying her, right? Plus, unlike many other fetishes, this is one that can be played out in public or anywhere. I mean, from the bedroom to under the table at a restaurant. And baby, let's not forget, we must take a trip to the shoe store, right? You want me to try on some shoes, don't you? Another super popular fetish, voyeurism. What? And I know you are all watching porn, so you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? Voyeurs enjoy watching other people have sex. And this fetish is super common. Or else all these porn companies would not be so popular, right? But for some voyeurs, guess what? Watching porn just simply is not enough. And I know this from personal experience, okay? A couple of years ago, and we're all recording live, Jolt Radio, Miami, right? A couple of years ago, a big, I'm going to say a big personality here in Miami. I got a text from this person. I thought they were going to help me with my career, but let me tell you what their text said. Their text was like, I have a fantasy of watching you and your husband have sex. I was so surprised and honored. I was like, wow. And the person was like, no, I don't need to get involved. I would just like to watch you two. And I thought, wow. I thought maybe if I did it good enough, then they'll help me with my career. But no, I chuckled and then I declined. And sadly, I did have to block their number. But it was a good reminder of just how common this fetish is, okay? And for those voyeurs who need to see the situation in person to get satisfied, most experts recommend the safest way to do this is a consensual threesome where the voyeur has permission to watch two other people having sex. This is the safest way to satisfy this type of sexual fetish. Also, there are global nudists and sexual communities that also offer this type of experience. Now, whatever you do, the number one rule about voyeurism is no spying. The voyeur must have permission to watch the people engaging in sex, okay? No spying. Also because it's like illegal. And guess what? I will not be getting anybody out of jail, okay? You have been warned. Do not be a fool and go to jail over watching someone without their permission. Now, we all know one of the most popular fetishes that we hear about in the movies, books, is BDSM, bondage, discipline, sadism, and masochism. This is a super wide umbrella of activities that can range from like bondage and restraint, slave trading, sexual submission, impact play, like flogging, getting whipped, with like a leather strap, spanking, all types of psychological role playing. And BDSM fantasies are so common. 50 Shades of Grey, which, in case you haven't read it, is not, the most overwhelming piece of literary art. But you know what? It still became a bestseller because people are into that. They want to know what's it like to be tied up. Domination and submission, it's all about the power exchange, right? The dom controls the submissive person who does everything they're told to do. And lots of people include some form of domination and submission into their regular sexual activities, like, hey, I might yell daddy sometimes, right? But true doms and subs, they can only get off when their role is being fulfilled with a partner who plays the opposing role. You understand? That is very different than many people who just like to incorporate just a touch of dominance, dominance, like a little blindfold, just a touch of submission, again, like yelling, oh, daddy, is very, very different. Or enjoying a slap in the butt, ooh, spanking, very, very different than wearing a neck collar attached to a leash that someone else is controlling. So, just because you might yell a few things during sex or you might be blindfolded doesn't necessarily mean that you're into domination and submission. But if BDSM is your thing and you do want to explore it more, it is super important to keep safety in mind. SSC is BDSM code for keeping it safe, sane, and consensual. And to do this, you should discuss exactly what activities are going to go down ahead of time and establish a clear, safe word for when the action needs to be stopped, cut off. You understand? It is essential that you and your partner know what is off limits and what specific sexual activities are definitely not off limits. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing to avoid getting into BDSM too quickly as well. And you can learn a lot beforehand by joining an online BDSM community. We're all about education, preparing you. How should you enjoy your fetish safely? Thank you for listening. This is what we're doing. And before we go into the next one, again, keeping safety in mind, anal sex, booyah, yes, super popular fetish. Now, do you really need me to explain anal sex? Okay, I will, for those of you still thinking about your GED. This fetish covers, anal sex with a penis or a dildo, sliding a finger in the butt during penetrative sex, so the penis might be penetrating a woman's vagina, and then we put a finger in the butt too. Or you might want to use butt plugs or other things up the butt to achieve sexual satisfaction. And you know what? A recent study found that 37% of women, that's more than a third of women, almost 40% of women, okay? And 43% of men say that they engage in anal sex, which is where the women is receiving and the men are giving. So these are heterosexual people. So 37% of women and 43% of men are engaging in anal sex. At least they're admitting to it. So we know that the numbers are much higher because a lot of people are not admitting that stuff, right? Now remember, since the butthole is not self-lubricating, it's super important to stock up on lube. Even if you're just thinking about it now, you know what? Just get yourself onto an online website and order yourself some lube. Also, since the butt harbors bacteria, that can lead to infection when transferred to the vagina or the penis, it's also important to make sure that the penis, the finger, the butt plug, whatever is going up the butt, it does not go into the vagina without being disinfected, okay? I mean, I hate to bring it up, totally not sexy. But if it's the penis or the dildo, you can change condoms to avoid transferring bacteria. But if it's anything else, it needs a thorough cleansing, okay, before going into the vagina. And you know what, that thorough cleansing, I'm sorry, I know it could kind of ruin the moment. So consider stocking up on condoms, okay? And it is worth mentioning, guys, it is worth mentioning men, okay? That means men. If you were born with a penis, I'm talking to you, okay? It is worth mentioning that I've done lots of research on anal sex, and guess what? Sad. Most women who engage in it do not enjoy it. Aww. They do it simply for their partner's pleasure. Now, there are a handful of women who do enjoy it because it makes them feel like a bad girl. It's a form of psychological play. But overall, the ladies are really doing it for their man's pleasure. I even had one client who engaged in anal sex for 16 consecutive years with her husband before they finally came to see me about this. She hated it. She was in pain the whole time, but he never knew because she did not know how to tell him. So guys, if anal sex or anal play is something that you're into, if this is your sexual fetish, please do me a favor and check in with your lady to make sure she likes it too. Okay, now I'm going to get off my anal soapbox and move on to the rest of our fetish education. Latex, yes, baby. Some people really get incredibly turned on by seeing a body in skin tight latex, rubber, vinyl, Comic-Con, those types of festivals people like to go to. And you know what? Often they like their latex shiny, super, super shiny. You might be surprised that latex, it's a pretty mainstream fetish, actually, and there's whole communities you can find, and you can explore this latex fetish with like-minded people, and of course, without any judgment. Now, one variation of the latex fetish, I love this variation, ballooning. It involves balloons. Yes, there are a lot of people who get turned on by inflating, popping, and deflating balloons. But unless you're into drugstore balloons, let me tell you, a latex fetish can be very pricey because if you're into the latex clothing, what? Many people with a latex fetish, they have invested more than $20,000 into their latex wardrobe. And let me tell you, if you're the one with the fetish, you're gonna have to pay for your partner to wear it, okay? And the other part is cleaning it is not easy, but you must clean it or else it won't last. To get the longest lifetime from your latex, you need to oil up when you're wearing it, and you need to keep it clean and dry when it's not in use. Because if you don't take care of it properly, boom, all that money down the drain. Okay, we're almost at the end of the fetishes, but this was one I could not pass up. You guys, we have to think about when we're investing in our fetishes, think about our friends with a furry fetish. Yes, furries, super common. These are people who enjoy dressing up in various costumes while having sex. And guess what? Most of these costumes, you know what? They have holes in all the right places, so you can have some good sex in your furry ensemble. Now, this is like within the realm of cosplay. People who like this fetish, they wear furry animal costumes, and they try to find someone else who's also wearing an animal costume most often. But I must tell you that some of these furry enthusiasts, instead of finding someone else, they also solo masturbate with stuffed animals. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the type of furry you are, you can't come play with my dog. I'm serious. No, seriously. If your partner is into the furry things that they like to masturbate with stuffed animals and not with real people, this could be something where I would say, I wonder if we could work on this fetish and see if we can get some humans involved. Because, like we said, if you're into it, someone probably is too. And all I can say about the poor stuffed animals is, thank God they're not real. Thank God. There are definitely furry social networking groups to make sure that you're not alone. You can find other people through these networking groups. And there's also even dating sites where you can find someone who's also into furries. Isn't that wonderful? All right, people, you ready for the climax? The fetish facts I need you to remember are almost everyone's got a fetish. Sexual fetishes are pretty common, and just because you like something particular during sex does not mean you have a problem. Now, 2, a sexual fetish can be a problem if it interferes with your ability to have relationships with other human beings. If you're only, exploring your sexuality with stuffed animals, then yes, that is a sexual fetish that you might want to get help for, okay? And to achieve optimal sexual satisfaction, that's always my goal for you. It is super important to discuss your fetish with your sexual partner, especially before engaging in it with them. I'm Dr. Sonjia, and that's the nitty-gritty on sexual fetishes. Now, lovers, the next thing you need to do is share this show with your partner so you can have a fun conversation about sexual fetishes that leads to you getting your needs met better. Starting tonight. Booyah! I had so much fun with you, and I can't wait to do it again at Sex in South Beach, where everyone comes for happier, healthier sex.
Bugs love me. Seriously, mosquitoes can't stay away from me. But a few months ago, I started moisturizing my skin with Scent's body oil and discovered this amazing oil also keeps bugs away. Plus, Scent smells so good, I even stopped wearing perfume. Smell good, feel good, Scent's body oil.